Hello? I'm talking to you. Who the hell is your boss? How does Amelia know someone with a limo? Sophie crossed her arms. The guard spoke without emotion. I'm not at liberty to share that information with you or Mr. Dawson. You know who I am? Charles's gaze sharpened with suspicion. The guard in black didn't answer directly. Instead, he said, Miss Rivera is being taken care of. There is no need for alarm. Suddenly, it seemed as if the guard received an order through his earpiece. He turned on his heel and left the scene without further explanation. Charles started to run after him, hoping to catch the limo, but stopped when Sophie grabbed his hand. Charles, please stop. She's fine. Let her go. His expression darkened as he watched the limo depart in a 6-car convoy. He worried that Amelia was too trusting and might land herself in trouble with this mysterious boss. Could it be someone she met at work? Sophie had similar thoughts. I'm dying to know who this rich guy is that Amelia is running away with in the middle of the night. She saw a shadow of jealousy behind his eyes and felt pleased for all the times she'd been made to feel jealous of him and Amelia, though she hated that he cared. Charles frowned. Whoever they are, their boss must be someone significant to travel with such an entourage. Significant? Sophie's voice was laced with disdain. I doubt it. If it's someone Amelia is involved with, he's probably into something shady. Charles's concern deepened as he dwelled on the thought. Seeing his gaze linger in the direction of the convoy, Sophie felt a pang of jealousy. Let's not waste any more time on whatever sketchy dealings she's wrapped up in. We have guests waiting for us. Just then, Sophie held her hand to her lower belly and looked up at Charles with puppy dog eyes. Plus, there's one tiny guest in here who's craving sweets. Would you grab us a slice of cake, baby? Charles nodded, took Sophie's hand, and went back to the party. When Amelia saw Javier's limo outside her dad's house, she didn't understand what he was doing there, but was so desperate to flee the engagement party that she beelined for the car. Amelia struggled to walk across the gravel driveway in high heels, so Javier got out of the car and scooped her up bridal style to carry her into the limo. She was so tired and eager to get out of there that she didn't resist him. Why are you here? She was tipsy and did not mince her contempt. Javier looked down at the cranky woman who looked petite in his arms, like a cat he had growing up. Your son was worried about you. He didn't want you to get bullied. Amelia's face scrunched up and she muttered, You bully me. Was this not the same woman who made multiple attempts to slap him? And she had the nerve to say he's the bully? Javier shook his head. When they reached the car, he bent down to put her inside, but she reflectively wrapped her arms round his neck and nuzzled against his chest like a needy little kitten seeking warmth. He tried to lay her down on the leather seat, but her arms clung to him. In this position, with him half bent, hovering over her, their faces were unusually close. So close, he could smell the faint aroma of wine on her. He spoke softly. Amelia? Did this woman fall asleep? She stirred at the sound of her name. Her dazed eyes slowly fluttered open and gazed at him for a moment before she raised her hand and absent-mindedly brushed her fingers across his face. Her touch was soft, almost electrifying, sending a subtle current through him that made him uncharacteristically uneasy. Amelia, let go, he ordered. His voice was low and commanding. Unable to hold this position for much longer, Javier gave up and sat down on the seat with her still in his arms. Half asleep in Javier's arms, Amelia suddenly felt something cold and wet against her lips. Her eyes shot open to find Javier holding a bottle of water up to her mouth. "Drink," he commanded. "All of it." He stared down at her sternly until she drank the entire bottle. "Good girl." Javier leaned his head back against the seat rest and closed his eyes until he heard a soft, dazed voice. "Why do you have to be so sexy?" He looked down to see Amelia grumpily studying his face. Javier raised a brow. "What?" Still tipsy, she let out a sigh. "When we met at the club, you were sexy. I liked you. But now you're mean and bossy. You know, you're no picnic yourself. You're violent and quite troublesome. Now be quiet and go to sleep." Amelia sat straight up in defiance. "I will not go to sleep. You're the troublesome one. Charles is going to marry her, and it's all your fault." Javier was bewildered by her sudden ferocity. "Who is Charles?" "My true love. And I lost him because of you. Because you were sexy at a club and then left me with a baby. So I had to stop being with Charles, and my whole family hated me. I lost everything just because you didn't like me enough to tell me your name or stay in bed to have breakfast with me the next morning." Javier's serious gaze looked into the glossy, tear-filled eyes that were now staring at him with so much pain and resentment. He took a breath before responding. "You're drunk." A bitter chuckle escaped her lips. "Maybe, but that doesn't make what I said any less true." Amelia crossed her arms and laid back into his embrace. Her face nestled in the crook of his shoulder, or at least he thought she was nuzzling into him to fall back asleep, until a sharp pain struck his neck. The woman bit him. Did you bite me?" Intoxicated with both wine and rage, all of Amelia's resentments toward Javier bubbled up, and she could think of no other release than to bite him. At that moment, she wanted to punish him. She pulled back to see her handiwork, and he warned through gritted teeth. "Don't do it again." But she wasn't done. She wanted him to hurt the way she was hurting. So she climbed onto his lap in a straddle and bit him again, biting down harder this time. Enough. Have you gone mad?" Javier grabbed her by the shoulders and held her at an arm's distance until she finally calmed down. After a few minutes, she spoke in a low, distant voice. "You never came for us, and nobody wanted us." He quietly looked into her eyes. "I know. I'm sorry." Amelia studied his face for a moment and softly asked, like an abandoned child, "Do you want us now?" They sat with their faces just a foot apart, saying nothing. Just then, the car hit a pothole, and Amelia went hurtling into him. Her hands caught herself against his chest, and their lips were now just a feather apart, filling each other's mouths with the sensation of their heated breaths. The air in the car grew thick with an indescribable tension, an almost palpable intimacy. "Everybody all right back there?" Victor's loud voice broke the spell and startled them. They turned to see he'd slid the partition down to see how they fared the pothole bump. Victor's eyes widened the minute he registered their intimate position. Why was Miss Rivera straddling the prince? Embarrassed, Amelia quickly moved to her own seat, and Javier shot his chief of staff a frosty gaze. "If I don't call for you, don't stick your head where it doesn't belong." "Sorry, Your Highness. Yes, Your Highness. Victor quickly put the partition back up and prayed for his life. Amelia finally started to sober up, thanks to that water Javier had forced her to drink. She sat awkwardly in her seat, staring out the car window. When she turned to steal a glance at him, she noticed the bright red mark she left on the prince's neck. Feeling guilty, she pressed her lips into a line. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have bit you. He stared out the window, lost in thought, then suddenly asked, You really care for him that much? Charles? His sharp gaze pierced through her. She quietly nodded. After a pause, he added, I can't give you back the 6 years you lost. Time reverses for no one. But Charles? If you love him that much, I have the means to arrange for him to marry you. As compensation for what you lost. Would you like that?
To find out what happens next, download the Pocket FM app in the next minute to get free access to all episodes of The Royal Accident for free.